An 8-Bit Rocket Studios production.
Into the Vertical Blank.
Hi, this is 8-Bit Jeff here. Welcome to our BattleZone Atari ST review. Into the Vertical Blank presents the Atari USA game releases for the ST, BattleZone. The publisher of BattleZone was Atari USA. The developer, like many of the Atari USA releases for the ST, was Andromedia Software. The year it was released, 1986 in the USA and 1988 in the UK. Let's get to some of the reviews. Atari Mania users give it a 6.6 out of 10. Kieran Hawkins' A to Z of Atari ST Games Volume 3 gives it an 8 out of 10. ST Action, back in the early days of the Atari ST in 1988, gives it a 61 out of 100. The Games Machine magazine gave it a 51 out of 100. And CVG magazine gave it a 4 out of 10. Videos. Atari Leaf said it has impressive graphics. And Trusteft said, good game. And after playing this game quite a long time, we at the Vertical Blank give it a 7.5 out of 10. And you'll see why. BattleZone is the Atari ST 16-bit port of the famed Atari arcade game of the same name. You man a lone tank on a first-person 3D battlefield. You must use your radar and single-shot-at-a-time cannon to blow up as many tanks and other enemy vehicles as possible. They fire back, and in both the arcade and ST version, you must move and aim and dodge all at the same time. The game was and is never a walk in the park. It's always been a challenge to play no matter what version you are trying. While the arcade version of the game was a masterpiece of both game and cabinet design, none of the home versions really could match its appeal. This is because of one thing. The controls of the arcade version used 2 sticks to simulate a real tank control, and as the player, you look through a periscope-style viewfinder into the 3D battle space. This control had the user pushing both sticks forward or pulling them backward to move in those respective directions. Also, the ability to spin the turret left and right on the tank was done by moving one of the sticks at a time. A joystick or keyboard in a home version really doesn't give the feel of the original and is only an adequate or less than adequate replacement. So, given this context, I can't compare the ST version to the arcade version because that really wouldn't be fair. The controls are just too different. I have played versions for the Atari 8-bit computers, the Atari 5200 prototype, and the Atari 2600 version. It compares very favorably to those versions. In fact, it's a combination of all three, with high-resolution visuals and better sounds. In fact, the Atari ST version is the best of the home versions. That being said, this is the first of the Atari releases for the ST that didn't really win me over at first play. While it looks very pretty, I had a very difficult time getting into it. The game has 6 difficulty levels, but level 1 is so difficult and throws the player straight into what seems like one of the more advanced levels of the game that I had a tough time getting into it. It took a lot of practice. The enemy tanks seem to always appear right in front of your player every time. This didn't seem to change with the difficulty levels either. But as we'll see on the gameplay demonstration, in my final game I did get the hang of it and had a lot of fun. It wasn't a lasting fun though, but I think I'll get back to this game again. Like the other Andromeda ports for Atari USA that we've seen in this series, this is a good looking and sounding game, especially for the time. The visuals have been improved with a bitmap cockpit and nicely detailed hills in the distance. But the enemy vehicles, weapons, explosions, and other battlefield structures are pure wireframe 3D. It's kind of an odd combination, but it doesn't detract too much from the game. Personally, I would rather have had all the graphics upgraded or none of them at all. But I do have to admit, the wireframes of the various enemy vehicles and the explosions look great. In any case, this is a nice effort. I did have a lot of fun playing through the difficulty levels, and the 8-bit chip hard drive converted version has an unlimited tank trainer. I didn't use it in the demo coming up, but when I got the hang of the game in my final try, it would have been nice to have unlimited tanks. This is a game that needs a couple plays through before you could really get the hang of it to review it. Even though it's basically a simple arcade blaster at its heart, my original score was going to be a 6 out of 10. But that improved to a 7 as I continued playing it and finally rested at my 7.5 out of 10 in my final game play on level 1. Will I play this game again? Yeah, I probably will. Okay. Let's check out the game and see if you have a different opinion. All right. This is my Atari STE running through SCART to HDMI with a couple cables and converters. And I'm going to bring up BattleZone by Peter Putnick. This is his Haga version, which means you can save states. Not that you need it in this game, but his conversions are fantastic. You can find them at 8bitchip.com. And let's take a look at the log. Whenever Peter creates a hard drive version, he gives some information of the software he used. He also says the source. If you see right here, my finger's in the way, but the source was an ST image of the original, unprotected. The hardest part was doing unlimited lives. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, this is not a game where you need unlimited lives. It is hard. The game will also work in monochrome. I can't test that at the moment. All right, so I have two different versions of this on my hard drive. This is the latest one. The first time I played it with a different hard drive version, and the leveling seemed weird. But let's try this version. We do not want unlimited lives. Now, nice picture taken from the box, Peter. And here we go. We are going to play skill level 1 to start out. Press F1 to start game. There, it's a tank right away. When I first played the other version of this game, there was one of the alien craft right at the beginning, and I think that it might have been a bad crack. So I'm glad I'm playing this one. And besides the sound of the darn it, besides the sound, it'll tell you when the enemy's in range too. And I'm just not very good at this. I don't want to judge a game based on how good I am at something, but the tanks seem to be showing up right in my... Very seldomly. This is kind of... I mean, the arcade... I love the arcade cabinet because of the controls. Never a huge fan of the game, but this, for what this game is, this is a good version. I would like to have seen the things not just be wireframe, though. It would have been nice to have the graphics be not wireframe, although they look really nice. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. You need to be able to shoot more than one shot at a time, which is... That's the arcade version. Okay. I have one more tank. Most of the graphics in this game are here. If you, we'll play another level of this. I don't think I'll play all 6 like I said I would, but maybe I'll just go up to 3. F3. You can use the keyboard or the joystick. Let's start a level 3. Programmed by Andromeda. Okay, so what's the difference here? Oh, right in range. It's a little sluggish. It's not really that sluggish though. I read some. I think they only played. I think some of the reviews only played the first level. They know it's sluggish. It gets faster. For what it is, it's not a bad game. Definitely. Oh, there's okay. So the first time I played this, that diamond guy, which is in the instructions, has a real name. And I love the volcano in the background is doing stuff. So Andromeda did a really good job of making this game. It's probably the best version I've played. I personally have played for any of the systems. The problem I have is there's not a lot to it. You basically just, a tank shows up and you start trying to fire at it and then it shoots you. And that's basically it. There's not... It would have been nice if they had done something else, since they didn't just have to remake arcade games at this point in the ST. It would have been nice if they had decided to make this like, I don't know, a tank version of Star Raiders maybe. Okay, let's try level 6 just to see how hard that is. But that's the game. There's not a lot more to it. And if you like BattleZone, or you like this constant sort of churn, which is between you and the enemy tanks, look, they're really fast and good. In fact, the game is not anywhere near as sluggish as people said. I think they only played the first level. But still, I'm only going to give it a 7 out of 10. I love the presentation. I like this game. It's just, I don't think I would really play it again. There's other better games on the ST that do the same thing. And even though it's a great version of BattleZone, primarily, to me, BattleZone was about those controls in the arcade. And I don't know that many people actually play the arcade game, but I did. Now, there's one thing you can do, is you can hide behind these buildings. There isn't one right here. It's just, I'm not quite sure the part about that I think is weird is that right away a tank just shows up in your view. Pretty much right away. Oh, let's see if I can escape. I wanted to try to go back to level 1 really quick. See, there's that. Let's see if we get that thing. See it? See, like right away, a tank shows up and it's right there in front of you. Now, that's because it's level 6. I'll go back to level 1 really quick and just do a comparison. This is over. And you can hide behind these things. I mean, there should be some strategy to this, but the tanks just show up right away, which is interesting. So, I mean, it's a good-looking game. The proposed Atari 5200 version looked a little bit like this. I haven't... Okay, we're going to try level 1 again now. Just because I want to see the difference in how slow it in speed. Skill level 1. So, the tanks do show up there. It's still just as fast. It's just, they don't turn as fast. The tanks don't turn. Now I get the difference in the levels, because the tanks don't turn as fast. But when they show up right in front of you, and I don't get it. There's all kinds of places on the playfield the enemy tanks could show up. And they're right in front of you every time. So that, you know, for the presentation and the making this game well and everything, for what they did, they kind of missed out on BattleZone. Maybe you can let me know if you play BattleZone a lot, if this is the way it is, but I don't remember tanks always showing up right in front of me. I kind of had to search for them just a little bit. In any case, not a bad 1985 game for the Atari ST, to be honest. We hadn't seen games of this quality on any 8-bits, really. I mean, maybe Atari 800, quite possibly. There were some games that were this quality, look-wise, because this whole thing, the whole way the screen's laid out, would work pretty much perfectly in an antic display list, with multiple colors at the top, and then the playfield has only got really 4 colors or less, and then you have the hills back there that don't really interact too much, and so, uh-oh, what's that? Okay, what's coming at me? Oh, it got me from behind whatever it was. I don't know what it is. Oh. Oh no. I'm trying to move back a little bit. No! And then there's that thing again. Let's get that guy. I don't like the way your shots are in this game. Okay, wait. Let's go towards this thing right now. Oh, it took off. It took off. Okay. Okay, what is that? It's coming out. Well, there it is. Oh, I got it. Ooh, it's coming at me again. Okay, now we got the... Cool, we got some good stuff in this... Ah! Sorry about that. Okay, so... Okay. Okay, it deserves a 7 at least. I'm going to keep it at that 7. It's a good game. I wish there was more to it. But it's got some blasting fun in it, I'm telling you. And that, my friends... Oh, I still got one more tank. I gotta say, the more I play this, the more I like it, so... Oh, ooh, one of those tanks. Oh, okay. There's like 3 things going at me now. Slows down, a little bit of slowdown here. They didn't, using the VDI methods at the beginning before they knew any other methods. What that means is they were using the C interface to create their game rather than going directly to the hardware. It's probably written in C. Okay, I'm going to say, as we got to the end of that got hectic and fun. So, it's a good solid 7. Okay, I'm going to give it a 7.5. That gets it close to what Kieran gave it to. 7.5, I think Kieran gave it an 8. I don't think anyone else actually played this game as much as I did before they reviewed. Not anyone else. The old magazines probably didn't play it too much. In fact, I have this theory that the guys that work for ST Action didn't even like the Atari ST. I'm probably wrong. But if you look at the reviews, it's like, what? Anyway, okay, I'm wrong about that. I shouldn't even have said that. Okay, until next time, into the vertical blank.
Next frame calculated. Prepare to write new data. V blank ending.
An 8-Bit Rocket Studios production.